What's up, level uppers? Welcome to the Level Up Show, episode 283. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew. I make the show Midori, and tonight I'm joined by the tech guru, Agent Vincent.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, how you doing, Vince?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing very well, man. I am a little sick, getting more sick as the day goes on. So fair warning to you guys in the chat, especially with the talk show. I'll probably start to sound more and more congested as the stream goes on. I'll do my best to not be disgusting and do my sneezing and blowing of the nose on commercial breaks. But yeah, I can feel it. It's beginning. It's picking up. So Kristen as well, she's sick. She's getting more sick. She went to bed at like 7:30 tonight. So it's spreading throughout the house, unfortunately. Oof. But I'm still excited, though. I'm very hyped up for tonight. We've got a really good episode. We're going to be talking about one of the most fascinating review spectacles I've seen in a long time for Death Stranding, of course. And we also got BlizzCon to talk about tonight and plenty else. It's another big episode. How many pages do we have tonight? We have 7 this time.
7, yep.
7. Last week it was 9, but I feel like this is just as packed an episode, actually. It doesn't quite have as much text to it, but it's a packed one for sure. Welcome to everybody in the chat. We got 24 people in the room already.
Ooh.
That's amazing. Let's get the TV in here. Let's get the chat up on screen. We got Hooded Reaper in here. Welcome, Hooded Reaper. We got LOL Brohaha. The 9 Fox is here. We got Brett, Nate Dog, Voz Gaming. Welcome back. No worries. He was caught up with school, so it's been a little while since he's been here. Rose City Matt is now known as BP'd Innocence. He changed his name, so we're going to have to get used to that. Mully is here. Welcome, Mully. How you doing? Trish the Dish getting first place today. We also got Chubrock and Juicy Jilly just came in the room. I want to talk, since Rose City Matt is in here and he changed his name, it reminded me of what we talked about on Discord today, the return of the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Oh, God.
Have you tried it yet, Vince?
There's not a Popeyes near me, actually. No? So no.
It's damn good, I must say. It lives up to the hype. I will say that today's sandwich wasn't quite as good as the first time I had it. And I think this is just, it's the way it works. Sometimes you're going to get a patty that's really big. Sometimes you're going to get one that's a little bit on the smaller side. Sometimes they'll give you a lot of spicy mayo. Sometimes they'll give you a little bit of spicy mayo. Today, they were a little bit skimpy on the spicy mayo, and they didn't give me quite as big a chicken patty, as I got that first time. So it didn't live up to that first time, but it was still damn good. It was a very good sandwich. I do recommend that you guys check it out, especially if you have a problem with Chick-fil-A. I know a lot of people have a problem with Chick-fil-A, and rightfully so. So if you want to stick it to them, give the Popeyes chicken sandwich a try. It's $4 too, and they give you like twice as much meat as the Chick-fil-A sandwich. God. I feel like we're like shilling for Popeyes right now, but honestly, it's a really good price for a good and probably unhealthy lunch. Mayo, gross. It's a spicy mayo, though, Derek. Yeah. It's a spicy mayo. You gotta try it out. It's pretty good. What is going on with you, Vince? How's your week been? What you been playing?
Week's been really busy. I actually did not get to stream as much this week. I think I got maybe 2 or 3 streams in.
Okay.
Which is a little bit less than what I consider like to do. Some cool things, though, is I actually changed my look again on my stream for a little bit more of a cohesiveness. I had custom made a bunch of my stuff that kind of fit in with my logo branding. That's what I did. I actually stepped back from that. There was just stuff that wasn't quite working that I thought didn't work from a visual cohesiveness. And I have Streamlabs Prime, so I'm able to go for all their apps on their store, even their themes are free or whatnot. So I switched to more of a stock look for right now.
Now, do you pay for that, Vince, real quick? Do you pay for Prime, or did you get gifted it?
I pay for Prime.
You pay for Prime?
They gave me a 3-month trial of it, I think, back right at the very end of the summer. And it just has now kind of come up. And it's been, I've enjoyed it. I made my own website with it. The apps on Streamlabs have kind of dwindled when it first started. When it first came out, it was amazing. There was so many apps like Monster Cat Player, all that stuff. And now a lot of that's kind of dulled back a little bit. So I'm wondering what's going on with that. But yeah, I switched things up. And the other really cool thing was I did do a small stream upgrade. I was capturing everything from an Elgato HD60S.
Okay.
I was looking at it and I really was coming down between, am I grabbing the 4K Pro or am I grabbing the brand new the HD60S Plus? So I grabbed the HD 60S Plus. So what that does, it means now on my 4K monitor, I get to play all my PS4 Pro games and everything like that all in 4K.
Oh, so it does transfer through that way?
It's a pass through, and the card only captures 1080p. The great thing too is it can also capture HDR. So say when next consoles come out, if I upgrade the 4K monitor and it's HDR monitor, I still have something there for a 1080p HDR stream if Twitch would ever get off their lazy butt for that.
Nice.
So
very nice.
That was the small change I made there. The reason why I went for the external solution again, I wanted to go for the internal one because the internal one would have been the straight up future proofing. But the way my computer case currently sits at, the PCI slot that it would need to have gone into would have been the very lowest one on the board, and that's like right against the power supply metal grill. And there's two SSDs like right there. I kind of measured as best I could, and it was like I'm only getting like maybe like not even an inch of clearance between these components, and I was like, I'm a little worried about heat underneath a GPU, a big GPU at that, and then on top of that being up top, like right above the PSU. I was just like, that's dicey.
You're the tech guru. You'll figure it out. You got it.
Yeah, so I mean that'll be something that comes in later, especially whenever a second PC gets added to the mix there.
Yeah,
and then we'll have that. But no, it's been.
You're gonna go for the second PC setup eventually.
Yeah, because essentially what that's going to be, it's going to be the matter if I want to do more of the PC and console stuff there. The single PC streaming just isn't working. Actually, that was the big thing I took a lot of time with this week was watched around like 4.5 to around 6 hours worth of this is what NVIC and X2 does. This is the actual encoder. This is what the actual encoding program does. Like this is the actual variables. Like I actually kind of learned a lot about that type of stuff. So There's actually some really great optimizations I did for my stream, which is I dropped everything down to 720p, 60 frames.
Yeah, some people do that. Yeah.
And what's great is I'm running at 6,000 kilobits. I was trying to push 8,000. And when I was doing my test recordings with 8,000, it was almost immaculate from the picture quality. I was like, it looks so great. But every time I kept doing the test, it was instant.
Twitch it's funny. Like I can do 7,000 on Twitch and 7,500 isn't too bad either. But once you go to 8,000, you start having problems on Twitch.
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
They kind of knock on your door there going, hey, don't do that.
Yeah, you can even look at like your stream radar or whatever they call it on your dashboard, and it says like you've got inconsistent upload rate or something like that. Once you go to 8,000, there's some like red flags going off from Twitch, like no, you shouldn't be doing this, or it's not working out for you. It's very frustrating, especially for a partner. Even partners. I've been partners since a year after starting streaming, and I can't do 8,000. So
yeah, it's one of those things. I think they need to like it, because from what I understand, it's a gray area with them depending on who it is. And I was just like, no, just step away from that.
I mean, if they're going to want to continue to stay ahead of Mixer,
you're going to have to.
I mean, it's not a part of our agenda tonight, but I'm going to bring it up now since I just heard it today. There's two other people that are now being talked about as jumping over to Mixer. One of them not enormous, but the other one being Pokimane.
Yeah,
which would be crazy. Monstrous. She's like the face of Twitch in a big way, especially for female streamers. So yeah, that would be a monstrous move if they got Pokimane as well. You know, if they keep this shit up and they just keep taking more and more streamers, they're gonna start getting some traction, and Twitch is gonna have to respond, and they have in some smaller ways. But sticking ahead in quality would be a big one if they can get the latency down and they can get the bit rate upload rate up higher. That would be a good reason for people to stick on Twitch as opposed to go to Mixer. So,
yeah. Did you see is the polls thing activated for you as well?
What's that?
I can do the whole new poll option now in my chat.
Oh, really? Nice.
I can do that now too. I can do that, and there was a couple other things I can do now with it. I was like, oh, so
I don't have that. Oh, wait. You know what? I have it as well. It's on my dashboard. Just saw it.
It's weird. They need to change the functionality a little bit on it, but they have something there. They just need to they need to clean up a little bit more.
They need to allow us to activate a poll with a command.
Yes.
That way I can create a hotkey before the show even starts, hit that hotkey, and it puts the poll in.
Right.
Because that's what I do now. I create all the hotkeys for all the polls because they're all Streamlabs chatbot commands. But I'd rather do it through Twitch because then it'll be like at the top of your chat, built in, integrated, and you guys will have an even easier time voting than you do now. Right now, you have to do exclamation point vote space 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not bad, it's fine, but to be able to just like click on a button would be intuitive. So yeah,
very much so.
they'll get there.
So how's your week been though?
Pretty good. Continue with Dark Souls 3. Really, really enjoying that game.
Very nice.
I feel like I'm getting a feel for it. I'm getting the flow down. I had a little bit of a hindrance this week trying to find the next path, but we eventually got it. And now things are moving smoothly. And I also gave 1 day towards Outer Worlds. Not a long day, though, because I was really, really tired that afternoon. So I just gave it a couple hours. It's a very pretty game. I like the saturation. I like the colors. Voice acting is really great. The world and the world building seems solid. Otherwise, it kind of felt a little par for the course. Like it's like kind of similar to what I expected it to be. Very Bioshocky / Fallout ish. It didn't like blow my mind in its combat. That's for sure. I thought the gunplay was pretty loose and didn't quite feel satisfying. But I did appreciate the more RPG side of it. I thought that it got all that pretty well in the couple hours that I played. Also, just go to chat real quick. I saw Derek that you're on Mixer now. Curious how that's going for you so far. Let me know in the chat. I don't think that it's something that I desire to go back to very strongly. I'm happy that I just like checked it out just to see what it was all about using Game Pass, which is one of the benefits of Game Pass, of course. But yeah, I don't think it would have been a game to hold my attention for a long time span. I think couple hours was all I needed to just kind of get a feel for it and what it was.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Like I've been having a friend who went through the same thing too, and I said you have to get off the first area for it to kind of really kick in, but it's hard to get off that first area because the impression there is so odd. It's like you don't have a lot of agency. I think it's like the issue that I kind of walked away with that when I did my first initial 8 hours. Like you don't have a lot of agency, or not, I shouldn't say agency. You don't have a lot of kind of motivation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of thrown in the situation, and there's really no like, well, you're doing this for a story reason. You're just kind of doing it because people are telling you to do it, and then you're just making up your own thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's weird. It is weird. I get that. The combat is definitely by far the worst aspect of the game so far that I've...
Yeah, it definitely felt like it wasn't their specialty, that area. That's not what they were really focused on. I was playing on PC, of course, but it did recognize the PS4 controller immediately. No problems at all there. So I don't think there should have been any issues with... the joystick dead zones and things like that in the same way that I had with Gears, for example. Gears, I had to do some workaround setup for the controller to work, and I have a feeling it messed up sensitivity, dead zone, things like that. So I put the blame on the controller there. It wasn't the game's fault. In this case, I don't think there was anything going on with the controller. I just think that the game itself didn't feel tight when it comes to gunplay, in comparison to obviously like a Call of Duty or something like that, where that's the entire focus is tight gunplay. It just felt really loose and inaccurate and unsatisfying compared to something that was a dedicated first person shooter. But,
right.
It's not something I was expecting to be that strong in that category. So it wouldn't have been a deal breaker for me if I was enjoying the other aspects of the game enough. I wouldn't have been like, oh, I can't play this because of the gunplay. It's not the focus, so it's all good, right?
Exactly. And like I said, the where they really truly shine is the narrative structure, at least with the voice dialogue. I mean, you gotta admit though, going up and talking to someone, and then like instead of it being like the Bethesda wooden faced, expressionless mannequin dolls, there's
the animations were nice.
Animations behind everything. The character models look great. The voice acting is really well done. And the thing that I love about Obsidian Games is the dialogue prompts always match up to what people think. They're not just generic, like whatever things. They're like literally like almost thought for thought what most people would think. Yeah. That's what I think is really impressive. I keep hitting my mic.
keeping the game a little shorter might have helped with that. It's not a very long game from what I've heard, like 20 hours for an RPG of that nature, Fallout style. People expected more, but that might have been what allowed them to focus heavily on polish and those character animations for NPCs being more impressive than what you might expect. And honestly, that wouldn't have bothered me. If I had gone through the whole thing and it ended up being 20 hours, which is what I've heard, I would have been like, that's fine. As long as that 20 hours was a solid experience, polished experience, I would rather it be that than some padded out 50 hours that didn't, focus on delivering good character animations and facial expressions and things of that nature. That allows me to become more immersed in the world and the NPC characters if they go that direction. So I think it's pretty cool that they did that. And now that they've got that Xbox backing, whatever their next game is, I don't know if they're going to continue on with Outer Worlds or if they're going to go to something else. They have that groundwork laid, and I think that you'll see that they could do the same thing, but maybe have it be a 30-hour or 40-hour even RPG the next time around, or maybe DLC, as Hooded Reaper says in chat. We'll have to wait and see if they add more onto the game with DLC. But I wonder how it's selling too. We'll have to wait and see. But
yeah, Game
Pass will of course affect that.
For sure. I think it's doing decently well in the PC markets, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Real quick here, a little Spiel Druckmann for you guys and a few other things added onto the Spiel Druckmann this week. First up, if you guys are enjoying the show, if anybody here is new, we got 31 people in the chat. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/TheLevelUpShow. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get those alerts whenever I go live. I've got a couple weeks left of the full-time dream. I will say I might have a job nailed at this point down. I got the offer and it's kind of going through right now, so working out a starting date, and I'll let you guys know very soon, but it's coming to the end. We're coming close to it now, so I'll give you guys an official end date, and we'll know what the final full-time stream will be, and we'll try to make it something special on that day. But even after the full-time dream ends, I will still be here in a part-time capacity, so hit that follow button, turn on notifications, make sure you get alerts whenever I go live. Also, of course, Prize Wheel is active tonight if you guys want to go above and beyond the follows. Subs, tips, and cheers mean a whole lot now and after the full-time dream ends, and that's why we do the Prize Wheel. Anything worth $5 or more will get you a spin of the prize wheel, and we also got a $10 wheel, a $25 wheel, and a $50 wheel, which is the Marballs wheel. You can also activate Marballs now using AP. Keep an eye on your AP. You're accumulating it right now just by watching the show in the chat. Share the show. Thank you, Vince. You can share the show on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, other Discord communities, wherever you possibly can. Just share the show around. Let's get some new people in here tonight, build this community even stronger. And lastly, we have our extension active, guys. If you want to turn on the 30-minute after show, which is dedicated to talking with you guys in the chat with Media Share active, $30 is our goal to make that happen. Oh my goodness, never mind. We just hit it already. Snap hands! Snap hands!
That extension.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. So there we go. We have hit. Dirk has made it happen. We've got the 30-minute after show happening, and Vince, don't worry if you can't stick around tonight.
I can.
You can?
I don't have work. So
don't have work. All right. So I'm going to get us set up on the 60-minute after show then, right now. Let's switch this donation goal up. Let's increase it.
The 9 Fox coming in there with the big support.
So $10 more, and we'll do an hour-long after show. Dirk, my man, coming in with the love tonight already. No time wasted at all. There we go. $10 more, and we'll do a full hour after show with Media Share active, entirely dedicated to talking with you guys in chat. And we're also going to do a Marballs wheel spin once we get to the wheel spin segment for Dirk. On that one, you guys could get some big XP in the chat. We could even get a Grand Prix going. We'll have to wait and see what happens on the Marballs wheel. Can we redeem a Pterodactyl? Pterodactyl is for Wake Up, Level Up only. I don't do the Pterodactyl during the Level Up show. This is something that we're archiving on YouTube now. We want to keep it somewhat tight. If we do Marbles, I'll probably pause the stream, the recording, during that moment so that we can keep the archive tight and focused on the talk show aspects. So yeah, no Pterodactyl activation during the Level Up show, but you can activate it during Wake Up Level Up, which will be live tomorrow. And speaking of that, I got exciting news that I talked about on Discord in the Call of Duty channel. I'm going to be doing a bounty tomorrow for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But what's good is I actually just bought the game on PS4, not knowing that there was a bounty activated for it. And for that reason, I got a PC code that I'm not going to use. So when I do my bounty tomorrow for the afternoon part of the stream, I will be giving away Call of Duty Modern Warfare PC BattleNet code.
Damn it.
So come around tomorrow afternoon around like 1 p.m. is when I'll be starting, but the giveaway will be active the entire afternoon, and you guys can get in on it. And if you don't even if you don't stick around, don't worry. If you win, I will private message you, whisper you, whatever I gotta do. I will get you that code, and you'll be able to play Call of Duty on PC, which I've heard is pretty freaking good. Looks beautiful on PC. So
that ray tracing shadows, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I think that'll be a nice giveaway to make happen, and we should be able to get some people in the room as a result of that, I would bet.
For sure.
So once again, huge thank you to Derek for the $50 tippy, activating 30-minute after show, close to 60-minute after show. Be like Derek, subs, tips, and cheers, give you a spin of the prize wheel or even the Marballs wheel. We also had a sub from Juicy Jilly, but it didn't show on stream, and I'm trying to figure out why, because this happened last week too. I'm going to do a little test subscription real quick here, and it's not showing. That's
I've had some weird issues too. Anytime I get cheers, the chat log and the activity log duplicates it for me multiple times. I don't get it. I don't get what's going on.
Let me go back to the main without the TV. Is that? No, yeah. So subscriptions are not showing as alerts right now. I'll have to look into that. But Juicy Jilly coming in with the sub. Thank you so much. Not sure what's going on. I apologize for that. You know what? I think I just figured it out already. I got it. I got to figure it out. All right. It's for some reason in my alerts, it's not. It's the subscription is not checked off. All right, so let me fix this. Follows, subscriptions, resubs, donations, hosts, bits, raids, Patreon pledges. I'll keep those. Merch, we'll keep that. All right, and I think that is copy this widget link here, and we'll repaste it, and we'll do a little test and see if it works. Here we go.
Derek said Nerd Stash was having problems as well.
Really? Maybe they changed something on the Streamlabs end, but
yeah,
there it is. Well, I got it working. So from now on, they should show up. Juicy Jilly, apologies that it didn't show up for you, but thank you so much for the resub. Appreciate you. All right, I think we are good with the whole spiel, Druckmann.
We are, I think.
All right, let me get a few things set up here. All right, and with that, let's get into the official non-gaming portion of the show. It's called the Level Up Show Has No Game. 3 non-gaming topics at 3 minutes each. Are you ready, Vince?
I am ready. Let's do this.
Let's do this. First up in Has No Game. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are no longer attached to Star Wars. Of course, D&D are the showrunners behind Game of Thrones. They had a lot of backlash after the final season did not deliver on expectations, but they had this Star Wars deal lined up for a while, and a lot of people wondered if the reason they rushed the end of Game of Thrones was because of this Star Wars deal. But then something weird happened. They also signed with Netflix for a huge, like, what was it, 9-figure deal with Netflix. Yes. And it was like, what the hell is going on here? They got Star Wars, they got Netflix. Well, now they are gone, and we don't entirely know why. Were they fired? Did they leave because of scheduling conflicts? What do you think, Vince? What's happening behind the scenes? We might never know, but what do you think happened here?
I honestly don't know, because I feel like it came like out of the blue. Like it was just like, yep, nope, they're gone. My guess is it have to be scheduling conflicts, and the mouse doesn't like to play nice with people with that sometimes. Right. So I think that's honestly what it just came down to. And they decided to cast their lot with Netflix, for that figure. And
there's a lot of money.
There's
a lot of money in play there.
It is
Here would be my guess, if I had to make a guess. I think that there were multiple facets to this whole thing. I'm sure Disney was wary after the end of Game of Thrones with all the backlash, especially considering Star Wars is already sort of bathed in controversy after The Last Jedi, especially with the diehard Star Wars fan base. They might not have wanted to, ruffle any feathers beyond that. So that was one aspect right there. But then on top of that, maybe David Benioff and DB Weiss were reading the cards a little bit, seeing their future, and realizing this could not go well for us potentially. We might want to get a backup plan here. They signed a deal with Netflix, but the stipulation with Netflix, according to everything we've heard, was that, yeah, it's good. You finish your stuff with Star Wars, and we'll be waiting for you. But I bet you Disney wasn't happy when they did that. But that was probably D&D's plan, was to have a backup in place. So it was sort of like it forced Disney's hand, but at the same time, it was maybe a little bit of a backup plan for D&D to have something there if Disney let them go. But I think they forced Disney's hand by doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Disney was not happy with that. Like, you're going to force a scheduling conflict potentially. You're going to force us to rush through this Star Wars trilogy so you can get going with Netflix. No, they're not going to stand for that shit. No way.
And especially with that fandom, I think Disney kind of felt that too. Now the chat's saying fantastic news after what they did to Game of Thrones. I'm not going to say that. I think that they had 4 to 5 fantastic seasons of Game of Thrones, and they can do good stuff. I would have been interested to see what they did with Star Wars, but there are better picks, in my opinion, and I'm excited to see what happens there. But continue on with Game of Thrones. The prequel series, The Longest Night, has been canned. That was the one that was going to star Naomi Watts. It was going to focus on several hundred years before the events of Game of Thrones, about the origins and things of that nature for the White Walkers. I was actually kind of interested in this, learning about the Night King, something that was created for the HBO series. That could have been somewhat cool. I don't know exactly what went wrong. They shot a pilot. They put a lot of money into it. It didn't work out. However, now that it was canned, you guys might have seen up on screen there for a moment that another series has been confirmed, another ones they had in the works. It's called Fire and Blood. It's based on the book Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, which is thousands of years before Game of Thrones, and is all about the Targaryens. So, I know you haven't watched too much Game of Thrones. What'd you get into, the second season? I got to the very start of the third season is where I ended. I liked the show, actually. I was like, kind of like, okay, yeah, I can see where a lot of the fan base enjoys this. I never really got into the books. I tried multiple times to get in the books, and I just can't deal with Martin's prose. I think it's the word you described there. Okay. I just can't do it. But I always thought he's just talented. He wasn't the writer for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm interested in Fire and Blood. What did you think of the Targaryen side of things? Was that something that interested you?
Absolutely. It's a more political side of things, I would say, in the Game of Thrones story, whereas the White Walkers and Night King, which you didn't even get to, that was the more mystical, supernatural side, which I really enjoyed. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the politics. The first season of Game of Thrones is probably my favorite season of the entire series, and that's all about the politics. But by the end of it, I did find myself getting more interested in the supernatural side. That being said, I am interested in Fire and Blood. What's surprising to me is this is going to be an expensive venture for HBO, because they're going to already have all their dragons grown, ready to go. There's going to be dragons in this show from the very first season. Big, full-grown dragons. That was something they didn't have to worry about until the last several seasons of Game of Thrones, once it was making a shit ton of money. So hopefully it works out well for them, and they can justify the price tag that's probably going to be on each and every single episode of this show. But I'm sure they don't want to let Game of Thrones die. Even the final season, for all the flack that it got, for one, it won tons of Emmys. They didn't give a shit about the reviews. Won a ton of Emmys, and it had a huge viewership on HBO. Yeah. So they weren't going to let that go. They're going to keep it going no matter what. They've had 3 different series planned out. The one failed. This one's going through, and there might even be another one in the future as well beyond Fire and Blood. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on from that, we got a little bit more HBO to discuss here, because HBO Max officially has a number. Price tag subscription for $15 a month. Now, there is a lot of content. Lots. This is like all of Warner Media is in here. So that's a shit ton of stuff. Like, look it up. You can see up on screen right now a lot of the stuff that's in there, but it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. I think I read the report that it's going to cost AT&T Time Warner. It's going to cost them 2.5 billion a year to run this service with the amount how much content is valued at for the service to run.
I'm
It's
not
just
surprised. They're trying to get their foot in, and they're
yeah.
willing to take a loss in the same way Disney Plus is probably going to take a pretty major loss at the beginning so they can get a lot of people on board and get their hooks in them. But there's actually a few other cool things that we just found out about HBO Max this week. DC is going to be doing Green Lantern and Strange Adventures through HBO Max as a series.
Wow.
There's going to be a Green Lantern live-action series on HBO Max. It's going to have Berlanti, the same guy that does the CW shows. He's going to be the showrunner behind these two on HBO Max. That's not the most exciting thing to me. The CW stuff is
Right.
not my favorite. But if he's working with HBO, something a little bit more mature in nature, a little bit more budget behind it, he could do potentially some cool things. And then Strange Adventures, from what I understand, is almost like a what if series. It's just a whole bunch of different individual stories with superheroes and mutants and things of that nature. So that could go any which direction. But
Yeah.
Green Lantern, I've always wanted something great with Green Lantern. I remember, and we've got the trailer up on screen right here for Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds. I remember when this was being shown off, how badly I wanted it to be great. Because I thought like a space epic, space opera, superhero film, it could have been amazing at that time. It was before Guardians of the Galaxy, I want to say.
It was.
So like this would have been like something that went and ventured more into that territory for the first time in the comic book superhero realm. I was like, I want this to be really good, and of course it's a freaking disaster. But we got a second chance here. We have a chance at something special on HBO, and I mean, most of the stuff that HBO puts out there is pretty high quality. I'm really enjoying Watchmen right now. Have you been watching that?
No,
Vince?
I haven't gotten any time. So
Yeah,
I want
solid.
to though. Yeah, I figured.
I 100% recommend watching Watchmen.
I will.
Did you watch The Leftovers?
I told you I watched season 1.
Okay.
That.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I've been there. It's a matter of setting aside the time to watch these.
It's just too much good television out there right now.
There is.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I would say to maybe put down some other ones and watch that one instead. Watchmen is off to an amazing start, and for what I understand, based on the reviews of people that have like the first 6 episodes of the season, this 3rd episode is where it gets fantastic. Like the first 2 episodes I thought were already strong, but all the reviewers are like the 3rd episode is where it goes into like the high gear, like next gear, next level. So
man.
I'm excited for that next this tonight. It actually just aired tonight. I'll have to watch it tomorrow. I can't watch Watchmen on Sunday nights because of the show here. But speaking of, actually, let me get into a little bit of another discussion since we were just talking about the full-time dream ending. I got a question for you guys in chat. If I were to move the Level Up show to another date or time, what would be the best for you? If I were to keep it on Sundays, I would move it to probably like 8 p.m. so that I could get done and get some sleep for an early Monday morning start because I'm going to have a big commute and all that. However, if I did it on Saturday, I could still do it at 10, or maybe I could do it at 9 since we're moving it anyway. Maybe you guys would like 9. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. If it was on Sunday, it'd have to be at like 8 o'clock. So that's one option. And if it's on Saturday, it can be either 9 or it can be at 10, the same as we do it now. Let me know in the chat what you think would be the best. What about you, Vince? Like, do you have any opinion there?
I enjoyed the Saturday times whenever you did that for Game of Thrones, I believe. I did enjoy it then. Sunday at 8 would also work for me for the most part because I almost never work Sundays. Saturdays, if it was anything like around 10, sometimes that can be iffy. If I tend to close a night or something like that, I might not get home till like 11. So that sometimes is an issue. That would be if you need me to be on the show with you that week,
right? Unless
you were going to start doing more of a solo show because of that type of stuff. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's actually more what kind of fits in your schedule, and we roll with it, you know?
Okay. All right, good to know. I'm seeing a few people saying Saturday would be fine. Joe says 10 p.m. stopped working for him 3 years ago. Also, what up? What up, Joe? What about on a Saturday, Joe? Would 10 p.m. be something that wouldn't bother you on a Saturday? I'm assuming 10 p.m. is not so great for you because of work on Monday. That's the thing is, I wonder if Saturday could do well.
Right.
We've never really stuck with it, but I wonder if Saturday could do well for a talk show here. Saturday is way better, says Joe. I noticed that when we were doing Saturdays, there were several people that were bummed once we went back to Sundays. But it's just what I'm used to. We've been doing Sundays consistently for such a long time that it's just what I'm used to. But something's gonna have to change once hopefully this job happens. It's still not set in stone, but I'm really hoping that I've got it. I did go, not to get into too much detail and give you guys details on what's going on with me, but I did go like counter something with them as far as our like agreement goes. I did counter on something, so I just need to find out if that's going to go through or not. And if it does, awesome, it's done. I've got a job, and because my PayPal, I'll be honest with you, is done. My PayPal's run out. It's running out this week, so it's good timing. If I can make this job happen, it's perfect timing. Worked out. Needed to make it happen. Well, Saturday probably best since like everyone is off on the weekend. Yep. All right, good to know. Let me know on Discord as well if you guys want to give me some more feedback. Feel free to use suggestions/feedback on our Discord. Let me know what you think for the future of the Level Up Show and what's best as far as day and time. If you want to even recommend another day, feel free. I'm curious what you guys think. If you want to say like Friday at 10 p.m., it's like, okay, just tell me. I'm not saying it'll work out, but I'd be interested to see what you guys think would be a good day. Not even just for you, but maybe a good day you think would work well for the show and its awareness and exposure. It would be interesting to see what you guys think as far as that goes. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into one of our newer segments. It is called How You Reviewin. And of course, you guys can utilize this on our Discord. Go to discord.gg/the Level Up Network. Got such a great community there. We haven't talked about it enough tonight. Get on our Discord and become a part of that. We got a channel for gaming and movies and television and superheroes and so many other things all happening on our Discord. And one of the cool things you can do is you can get on there and you can take part in this segment right here.
It's a fun segment.
How You Reviewin. You guys submit a video game for us to review live on the show. And this week, we're going to be taking a look at Firewatch. Now, it's been a little while since I played this.
Same here.
But I feel like I have a pretty strong memory of it. Let's start off, of course, as we do, with our first of three categories, presentation. Vince, take it away.
I mean, the art style is gorgeous.
It is.
The music is gorgeous. It's such a cozy game to watch. You know,
the colors, the atmosphere. Yeah.
It's so easy and pleasing to the eyes that it just, like you're seeing the shot here of the I forget what the actual term for him is, but like, look at that. The clouds just kind of slowly drifting off in the distance. The flag kind of moving with the wind. The game's presentation is just cozy. That's the best way I can describe it.
And also in presentation, gotta talk about the voice acting. There's really only two characters in the entire game. There's one other one that pops up closer to the end and does have a role, but you're really dealing with two characters. And the voice acting for those two characters is phenomenal. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. There's also a great emotional story that is thrown at you from the moment the game starts. I remember it hits you with a gut punch within the first 5 minutes, and I was like, holy shit, yes. This is the kind of shit that I want right now. I was really into that at that time. It was just like small 3-hour, 5-hour indie stuff that has a really strong emotional story that's going to affect me, and I was like, this is going to do it. Unfortunately, I think around chapter 3 of 5, I started to realize it wasn't going in the direction I thought it was going to go in. It lost a lot of that emotional core for me personally.
No, I agree with you.
And it's it's not to the point where like the game was ruined or destroyed. It didn't hold on to that strong pace that was brought in the first 5 minutes. So I do have to bring that up because that is my major complaint with this game, was that it didn't stick the landing.
Yeah,
and it because it started so strong, it made it all the more disappointing that it ended that way.
Yeah,
right.
It feels like it gets a little unfocused near
It
the
does.
end there. It definitely feels like
it
that.
tries to trick you with
Yes.
red herrings and all this and that, and got lost in that. Where it should have just focused on that great emotional core that it had from the very beginning. If they focused on that, it would have been something really special. It did lose some of that mystery too towards the end. I agree. Let's talk a little bit about gameplay. It's a simple game. It's in a way you might even call it a walking simulator.
A walking simulator? Why would you say that? I think it's more like a hiking simulator.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you could call it that. Here's the thing: I don't look at that term as a derogatory thing whatsoever. There are good walking simulators, there are good hiking simulators, there are bad walking simulators. This is not a bad one by any means. And it's when you're dealing with a walking simulator, its core is telling a great story with good characters, a good interaction, something that's going to grab you and impact you. And this, as I said, it started that way. And I felt like it was intuitive from a gameplay perspective. You know, you're dealing with certain elements, especially trying to traverse the environment and find your way around the environment was one of the big deals. You're dealing with this walkie-talkie that you're pulling in and out. There was a little bit of a frustration with the map, I remember. The map was a little frustration bringing that in and out. But for the most part, I thought it felt pretty intuitive. And considering that was really just the device to continue the story, you know, it was fine. I was okay with all of that.
Yeah, it's the same way too. Like for me, is like the simplicity of the game makes it fun to kind of just pick up and play. But I do remember for the most part, I had no issues navigating or like understanding where I was supposed to go. Into like the middle sections where it kind of felt like they wanted to do more of an open-ended structure to it. And again, it loses some of that nice cohesive simplicity with it. They kind of throw a little bit more some elements in there. It gets weird, especially in the middle and the end. And it's just one of those things of like, from a menu design standpoint on things like that, it works. It's just, you know, I don't remember it.
It doesn't throw a lot at you. It doesn't. It's not very diverse, but I will say it doesn't overstay its welcome either. It's only about 5 hours, so if it were 10 hours, you would have been like, all right, I'm doing the same shit over and over again. But since it is 5 hours or so, it doesn't become too mundane, even though it's a lot of the same mechanics over and over again. So a little bit about impact. We're already getting into that a little bit in you saying, like, it's not... You don't really think about Firewatch too much nowadays, right?
No, you don't.
I think about its art style. I'll say that. It really was a beautiful game from an artistic standpoint. And Ollie Moss is a fantastic artist. And, he's the inspiration and the designer behind a lot of this. Campo Santo is the developer, the studio that worked on it. And now they're working on In the Valley of Gods, which we saw revealed at the Game Awards. And we have really not heard much about it since. Now, what do you think about In the Valley of the Gods? Like, based on your feelings with Firewatch and its impact that it had on you, do you feel like you are excited for what they're going to do in the future at Campo Santo?
I do, honestly. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even know they announced a new game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing on the stream right now is the first time I've seen anything like this. And I'm already there. The art style is working for me. I mean, they have terrific artists. And I already know from a voice acting standpoint, it's going to be performed very well. The only question is what's the story going to feel like, near the end there? Are we going to have that unfocusedness that happened with Firewatch, or will they have learned from Firewatch and, will it become a better game because of that?
Right. Now, in the Valley of Gods, you can see that they're being a little bit more ambitious. You don't see any characters' faces, if I remember right, until the very, very end. And I don't even know for sure if you do at the end with that one character that's introduced. There's really not a lot there as far as facial animation. So In the Valley of Gods is their next game, and they're taking what they did with Firewatch and pushing it to the next level, and I think that's cool. I'm personally interested in what they do next. Firewatch was the first game for them that was on anybody's radar. I don't know if they did anything before that, but if they did, it wasn't on anybody's radar. So considering that, yeah, let's see what they do next. But on Firewatch, let's give it a rating. Vince, are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, 7.
8.
Oh.
I mean, it's still a decent game in my
I
opinion.
agree. I agree.
You know?
7 is a good score. 8
But
is a
again,
good score as well.
it's just one of those things. Like I know it put impressions on me. That's for sure. It's just one of those. I can't remember very much of it, other than the fact that I just remember the emotional aspect of the story was great, and even the ending emotional context is still good. You know, I don't know. Positivity in games is always a great.
It's a good
see.
game. I mostly remember it fondly. That's why I gave it a 7. And you guys were around an 8. I saw in the chat. So yeah, 7, 8. Good game. Excited to see what they do next. But now we must get into
the best part of the show.
Yes,
the show where I become angry and unleashed.
We got to get into our review roundup. And the big one this week, we got 2 games we're going to talk about, but the big one is, of course, Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding. It has an 84 on Metacritic. It has an 86 on OpenCritic. Very solid scores. Like 85% of critics are recommending it. But lower than maybe some were expecting.
For sure.
Because it's Hideo Kojima. And the only other game he's ever had below a 9, besides Ground Zeroes, which I don't really count, is Peace Walker. Peace Walker had an 89. So yeah, it's a little lower, but at the same time, I kind of expected it to be lower because it's
different,
very bizarre and unique and ambitious, and I could tell that he was going in such artistic directions that it was going to not work for certain people, and that's fine. I feel like the complaints that I'm seeing are valid, and let's get into a few of those right now. But we're gonna start with a higher score. Let me put down the music a little bit. We got the music in the background. I figure we have the music going. We'll start with Electronic Gaming Monthly. They gave it a 10 out of 10. Perfect score from Electronic Gaming Monthly. They said, in the end, Death Stranding's biggest mystery isn't any of the elements we've had teased in 3+ years of trailers. It's what people are going to think of it. Even from a man known for making love them or hate them projects, this may end up being one of the most divisive games ever created. For me, it was an experience that I can truly say was unlike any other I remember. And if nothing else, Death Stranding makes me respect Hideo Kojima for convincing Sony to invest millions into a game that's about a man delivering packages to holograms. Alright? What about in the middle there, Vince?
This is from XGN. I actually don't know the actual publication here, but they gave it an 8.5. While not for everyone, Death Stranding is still a breathtaking experience thanks to a beautiful world filled to the brim with amazing characters. The gameplay lacks some variety in some ways, yet it was such an amazing story you just want to keep playing. The same thing applies for the stealth sections, which are some of the best Kojima has ever created.
Okay. And one of the lower scores, and definitely one of the more talked about scores, even though it's not the lowest score, IGN US UK, and that's an important distinction because we're going to talk about why later. They gave it a 6.8. They said there is a fascinating, fleshed out world of supernatural science fiction to enjoy across its sprawling and spectacular map. So it's a real shame that it's all been saddled on a gameplay backbone that struggles to adequately support its weight over the full course of the journey. Okay. So the reason that it's worth bringing up IGN US UK is because pretty much all the other ones reviewed it very highly. Japan gave it a 9.5, if I remember right. We got a 9.8 from one of them.
Italy.
Italy, I think, gave it 9.8. I think Spain gave it like an 8.9. And then it was
Middle
all like
East
8s and
like
9s, pretty much. Yeah, they were all very high from the other IGNs, and then US UK gave it a 6.8. One of the most fascinating things that I noticed, and it's not across the board, but US UK publications were consistently lower than other European ones, like much lower. Like most of the perfect scores came from European 9s and above came from European publications. And why do you think that is? Like what caused that to happen? Do you think, Vince?
I don't know. The full disclosure right now. I told Drew before the show started. I've read every single review that's been a readable review for this game. I have read all 73 or 4 reviews for this game. As most of you in the community know, this is one of the passions I have. This is the game for me. This has been the game for quite a while. And something that has struck me a lot in some of the stuff that I read is this is especially with some of the things like what you're saying with the US and the UK. outlets, a lot of them when they are talking negatively or critically about the game, it's because it doesn't follow the norms of conventional game design. If that makes sense. That's been like a lot of the things that we've been reading. Like with IGN, saying, why is there a like system in this game? This is so silly. It's a Facebook like system. Why is that? Like,
yeah,
there's not even an attempt to understand the context of why it's in this world. It's just not making fun of it, but it's just there's this disconnect with that too. Same way with like how boss fights have been so all over across the board with impressions. Some people said they're terrible. Other people are like, holy crap, this is the most technically advanced and most amazing thing I've seen done in a video game in years. There's this really weird disconnect on this game and what it's supposed to be and what people think it has to be. And to kind of get just back to that question about the US and the UK thing, maybe it's just the strong kind of, it's very much not, it doesn't direct you very much at all.
Right.
One of the things that I watched with the IGN review too, and this wasn't, again, disclosure here, this was not the panel that reviewed the game, but this kind of shows a little bit here. So they were talking about the game's map. And like they were talking about game design in a way here about like, you do Red Dead Redemption or something like that. You open up a map, you press X, and you either have your horse take you to that, or you just kind of beeline a straight line. Assassin's Creed, you beeline a straight line for the most part. You Breath of the Wild, you're climbing up a ridge so you can jump off a mountain, so you can go almost in a straight line. They were saying what's weird about this game is you can't do that. Like you're looking at the map from a 2D perspective and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to plot my course here. And then you have to realize that you have to rotate the actual controller to go, oh, that's not an actual like cliff or anything like that. That's a wall. I'm not getting up that wall. And there's been a lot of that type of stuff, like just to where, I don't know, people that I thought were competent at playing games kind of took a backseat with this one. It's weird. I'm not sure what's going on with.
I think frankly, I think it just some didn't feel the drive to play it maybe the way that the game wants you to play it because they checked out. They were bored with it. Clearly, there are a lot of people that are just bored by this game.
Yeah.
If you look at the reviews, there are a lot that aren't. I mean, here's another interesting thing about it. Like a lot of these reviews are talking about how divisive it is and things like that. It doesn't seem that divisive to me when you break it down to if you like it or you don't like it. Like the content of the reviews, yeah, almost every single reviews brings up certain negatives or flaws, but even the perfect 10s bring up flaws. But that doesn't mean that they need to lower the score. Like these games are more than the sum of their parts. Like that's what I think people don't understand. It's like, why do they give it a 10 when they're bringing up these flaws? Like, because it's you can think a game is a masterpiece without thinking that it's perfect. It's more than the sum of its parts. So a lot of people are saying like that it's divisive because every single review brings up a negative, even the perfect 10s. But if you break it down to as simple as I liked it or I disliked it, it's 40 something reviews being 9 or above, with like 15 of them being perfect 10s. There's only like 7 or so reviews that are below a 7. It's really not that divisive.
The other thing that's weird too, again, with this whole argument about this game being divisive, like whatever, this game, I counted, it has 15 right now from what I can understand. This game has more 10s than any game that released this year. That means it beat Resident Evil 2 in 10s. It beat Sekiro in 10s. So, sorry, Sekiro. Like,
I think only if you take it as a percentage though, right? Because it only has like 70 something reviews.
No, but if you go look at like Sekiro, like all the other ones, they're around the same number. Like
even
really? With Resident Evil having like I think it's 87, it only has like I think 11 10s.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the weird thing about it. There's more 10s for this game as of right now more
10s are going to pop up. Another 10 just popped up today, a new 10. That being said, there's going to be some lower scores that pop up as well because some people haven't finished the game. And one of the mandates of the embargo was that you had to finish it, which is another discussion that I actually want to get into in a moment. Because like somebody like Edge, for example, were so bored by the game, literally so bored by the game that they refused to finish it in the time frame that they were allotted. So they're saying they'll probably never review it officially with a score. But if they did, I mean, honestly, I could see them giving it like a 2 or a 3.
I guess they give it a 1. They give it a 1 out of spite. That's
Yeah,
edge.
so that would destroy the Metacritic right there if
Oh,
that
for
came
sure.
out. If you care about that kind of thing, of course.
Right.
But yeah, this is. If anything, it's been going up as time has gone on. It started off as like an 80, 81. I remember when like the
Right.
reviews first dropped, and it just gradually started trickling higher and higher towards 82, 83, 84, and on OpenCritic up to an 86. And if you take away weights and the outlier review from Survivor for 3.5, it's actually like an 87. So
That's still
yeah, it's a very solidly reviewed game, and honestly, I will pat myself on the back as somebody
yeah.
brought up earlier. I nailed it. 84 to 87 is exactly what I thought would be, because I knew there were going to be some people that really didn't get it or like it, and those were going to be the sixes, and there are a few of those sixes and sevens, and that's fine, but most of them are nines and tens, honestly. And I just think that if you appreciate Hideo Kojima's style and his sort of wacky storytelling and innovative unique gameplay ideas, then I think that you'll probably appreciate this game for the most part. I wonder if after this, though, he tries to go back to something a little bit more mainstream.
It's all going to depend on that sales. If this game,
Yeah,
and that's the crazy thing too. Let's talk about this again too before we get any more distracted. This game got a Rick and Morty ad.
it did. Yeah,
You know, Last of Us Part 2 is not getting a Rick and Morty ad. You know, like that's the thing. Like this game is breaking a lot of those pop culture boundaries right now. And it's crazy. It's being crazy advertised. I'm even seeing it here in my hometown. I'm like, what is going on? This game is everywhere. It's gonna
if you
be
had to guess
interesting.
before the end of this year, how many copies
I
sold to
nah, I'm
consumers?
there's two things in this world I'm bad at, Drew. Metacritic reviews, score guessing, and sales guessing. I can't guess that. I'm gonna say, if anything, it's probably gonna debut really strong. Its legs are going to be interesting. I think its legs are going to be phenomenal,
Yeah.
especially with the PC double dip market. I
And
could,
I wonder if just all the talk and controversy actually leads to further sales.
I don't know. I mean, it is weird. I mean, that's the thing too. A lot of the reviewers also say this too. They also say you need to play this game. Like
Yeah,
even I think Alex from Giant Bomb even said that too. He was like, you need to play this game. I just can't recommend it to you at $60, but you have to
right.
play it. You know. So like, there's definitely something there that people need to try and experience for themselves. It's just a matter of how aggressive is Sony going to keep that value, or are they going to drop the value of this game really quickly and this thing just going to spread?
I think it sells 4 to 5 million, no problem. I think
Okay.
that's without a doubt. Um, if it gets up towards like the better PlayStation exclusives, that I think is going to depend on the legs and how the reviews and word of mouth affects it. But I do think it's going to have a very strong start.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, we'll see what happens after that. I mean, I honestly I don't know where I'm going to fall in this game when I play it. I think that I'll like it, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I'll be
I've,
I'll be playing it on stream.
I'm ready. Everything about it is what I need from games right now. If
Yeah,
that makes sense. Especially playing us like Odyssey and Red Dead 2. I need something like this that takes that entire formula and just kind of inverts the whole thing.
yeah.
What is it going to be? I don't know where I'm going to end up with it, but I need to see something different in the market space. And I think it's the one thing I truly want to see more of. I want to see more of these things in the AAA
Without a doubt.
market.
And I find that even almost all the reviews that gave it low scores do recognize that. The Survivor one, the 3.5, thinks it's like garbage, like that should never be allowed again. And this is why when you give somebody free reign to create art, it's a bad thing. Like that review is garbage.
Garbage.
Absolute
Garbage. Straight
garbage.
up trash.
This is a good thing. That a AAA game was allowed to go in this direction is an amazing thing. It's very rare, and you might never see it happen again, honestly. That this wacky product came out of a AAA, highly funded project. That's a very cool thing that just happened. So
There is one thing you will see a lot of developers copy, and it's that social strand system. You're going to see that permeate. You're going to see that thing just litter everything now.
we'll see.
I'm
I do
dead
want to talk
serious.
about the mandate that the game had to be finished a little bit more.
Oh, yes, please.
Do you think that first of all, let's talk about the implication of that. the fact that this embargo mandated that the game must be finished, it implies that there are embargoes outside of this game that don't say that, where the game does not need to be finished, or maybe it only needs to be finished to chapter 2 of 3, or something like that. There are going to be games that don't need to be finished before you review it. Do you think that a critic, reviewer, whatever, should finish a game, at least the main campaign, 100% before they can review it?
Yes. And the reason why I think that is that's the core experience of the game. That is games are the sequel of all the sum of their parts together. So if you have something that's going to be a game with gameplay mechanics that leads you through a narrative story that leads you to a conclusion, yes, I am of the mindset that you at least need to finish that aspect of the game. Side content is there for padding. It's always been there for padding. It's always been there for for people to get more time out of the game that they just purchased or bought. So when I see these complaints about, well, we didn't want to finish it or we were too bored to finish it, then my thing is, then you don't write a review. It's that simple to me. Now, when you're talking about something like Call of Duty, especially for a multiplayer experience type thing, how do you actually justify, is it hours played? There's got to be some sort of qualitative factor there that indicates that, yes, you have played this game. And we've seen that controversy pop up more often now is like, someone writes a review of the game, they give it like a middling score, and people are like, they find out, well, this person didn't even finish it. Like, and people have gotten mad about that. And I think it's unprofessional, especially how the way, like, if we're going to talk a little bit more about specifically about the Death Strand situation, I think it's extremely unprofessional on how the author from Edge brought that up on Twitter. Like, I was like, I don't even care about your publication anymore now because of just that behavior.
There's been some strange behavior on Twitter, without a doubt, with some of these reviewers and how they're responding to fans. And let me say also, though, there's a lot of fans being ridiculous. Hideo Kojima lovers that are just, they can't handle that some people don't like this game. Deal with it. It's, opinions are opinions. That's fine. But I think even more so from the reviewer back to some of these people is like, you're the professional in this situation.
Yeah.
And I know that this is Twitter and you're not in your job space, but like, come on, some of these things, some of the, like, the returns I'm seeing, it's just, it's immature. It's unprofessional. I don't know. I just feel like they should be above that, in all honesty. I'm not liking some of the things I'm seeing on both sides. This whole thing is a problem. I hate what this brings out in people, these type of review situations. That's why it's been somewhat fascinating to watch.
That's the other thing too. When I got annoyed about it too, because when I was on Reset, we'll read some of this stuff and everything like that. I believe it was, I can't say her name and I apologize. I think it's from Kat from US Gamer or something
Bailey.
like that. And she, gave it like a whatever. It was like a middle of the road score, but she came into that thread. And she said, she was talking about this whole thing about like how, gamers need to walk away from this whole thing about being obsessed with critical scores or whatnot and this and that.
Yep.
And there's people who were bringing this point up and people kept deflecting it saying, well, that's not her job. She's doing what the industry was. But they kept asking her, then don't put a score on your review. Like,
that's not on her. She doesn't decide that, of course.
Right. But I'm like, that's what they're saying though. Is like people are like saying, then just stop putting scores on stuff. Just make a review, make a closing statement and be done with it. And that's the thing is that we've gotten all hyped up on these numbers and everything like that. And it's just, we talked about a little bit before the show, is just like, it's starting to get to the point to where it doesn't even matter if the game is good or if the game actually does anything. It's just a matter of, did my game get a 90 Metacritic or something like that? I am justified in buying my game. And that's it. And I think it's the most insane concept of that. You have to have some other people justify your own purchase. I think it's ridiculous. I can't do it. Like, I would miss out on so many games that I would never try because it didn't fall under some sort of category.
Right.
Well,
to respond to my own question about if the reviewer should finish it.
Sorry.
I'm actually of a little bit different opinion. I think that it's a case-by-case basis, for one. And I think that there are plenty of situations where a review would be very valuable to a reader without them finishing the game. And if that is the case, they should very clearly list in their review that they did not finish the game and how far they got into it. But I think that there are plenty of situations where somebody might focus almost entirely on side content and for that reason not finish the game by the time that the review goes live. But they have a lot of great things to say about content in the game that some people would be more focused on. Maybe some people might say, I really care about how the side content is in this. And this is a person that focused more on that than the single player campaign or the main campaign. And for that reason has more to say about that. So I would go to that review and read that and look at that score based on that person's experience. But in those situations, I think the embargo, mandate should say, if you don't finish this game, say how many hours you put in, say if it has a chapter structure, what chapter did you make it to? You know what I mean? That way the reader knows exactly what is going on there. But I do think there are situations where a reviewer shouldn't necessarily have to finish the game to review it. But
no, okay.
That's my personal opinion.
I can agree with you on that. It just, for me, I want things to be more, what's the word here? Qualitative, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Instead of quantitative, yeah.
It's just, that's where I want it to be, is that a review to me, the word review means to me, and it's one of those things where we can argue this all day if we wanted to, is a review to me is that you are reviewing the game for technical competence, gameplay mechanics, story content, and you're reviewing the actual contents of the game and you're assigning a score to those. And that's where that score comes from, is based on how you actually opinionate on that type of stuff there. So to me, when you don't finish a game, your review score to me feels like that's an incomplete number.
Like, I get you. Yep.
It's one of the boxes has not been checked. And if everyone does what you did though, where you'd say, you clearly state like, I only got to chapter 4, then great. Just make sure that is adequately broadcasted in your review, so that way we know that this person did not finish it, but these were the impressions that he walked away with it, and at this point they would give this a 7.5 or whatever.
Yeah, without a doubt. We got 40 people in the room. Welcome to the show, everybody. We got Boca Loca joined us recently. Mr. Nice Guy is here. We're talking about Death Stranding. It's just one of the games that came out this week though and reviewed well. There's another one that we need to talk about, and it is Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion 3, to be exact. Got an 86 on Metacritic and an 86 on OpenCritic. Daily Mirror gave it a 10 out of 10 perfect score. In a year of stunning Switch games, Luigi's Mansion 3 puzzles and charm more than stack up alongside the incredible Fire Emblem Three Houses and Link's Awakening. We're so glad the franchise is back, and it's made the jump to HD with style. Who knew tidying up could be this much fun? Go ahead, Vince. What's in the middle there?
Level Up. They gave it the game an 8.5. Luigi's Mansion 3 is a game that will satisfy those who have enjoyed the past 2 adventures of this coward plumber. Next Level Games took what worked in Dark Moon, combined it with the best of the first installment, let their creativity flow into other branches to deliver what I think is the best Luigi's Mansion today. It is a shame that its pacing is not ideal for a game of its kind, but it does not prevent it from being a high-quality product.
And finally, one of the lower scores, might actually be the lowest score, COG Connected gave it a 7.5, saying, scoring this game for me is a struggle. The core design structure, the aesthetic presentation, and the basic game feel are all excellent. Yet I hated Luigi's Mansion 3 so acutely that I could not complete the game. There was no single puzzle that outwit me in the end. Instead, that rising sense of terrible dread just became too much. I wasn't even that far from finishing the game. I just couldn't grapple with the knowledge that all my suffering was a prelude to something worse. So there you go. Somebody that couldn't finish the game and gave it a 7.5. I'm sorry, but if the game was so bad, he said, I hated Luigi's Mansion 3 so acutely that I could not complete the game. Hated. He said, I hated the game. And he gave it a 7.5. Something's off here.
That's my thing is, that's again, the issue, like, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't get it.
That's so weird.
I want to get this game. I mean, looking at what I'm seeing on the screen right now, the animation quality behind this is phenomenal. Beautiful. I know Mike has been playing it. I know Mike has said it's phenomenal to play and everything like that. But let's talk about the Switch in itself. They've had a phenomenal year with all their hardware. So, I mean, with all their games, I apologize. I don't know. Luigi's Mansion just looks phenomenal. I would love to get it at some time.
One more time. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal cosmic power. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say it is the most technically impressive Switch game yet. Runs very, very smoothly, very clean IQ. Animation, as we just discussed, looks top notch. Yeah, it looks like one of the ones to get this holiday season for sure. And I might pick this one up.
I'll definitely have to pick this one up. This one's definitely on my radar just because of everything that I love the games to begin with.
As for what you guys said in the chats, let me see here. Did it get a final? Yes, both won.
Yeah.
With 2 votes. There was more people that said both than anything else. That's cool. Cool to see. You guys are interested in both Death Stranding and Luigi's Mansion. Very, very different games. So that's cool that we have an audience that would be interested in both of those.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
It was a long How You Reviewin this week.
It was, for sure.
11-11.
Yeah.
Took our sweet time there.
Yeah, we did. We're both passionate about Death Stranding, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
Let's get some wheel spins done here because we've had some support. We had 2 follows come in already from Gaming Cosplayer and Ozzy Goldie Plays. Thank you so much, or OZ Goldie Plays. Thank you so much for those follows, guys. Keep them coming. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live every single weekday currently, and also Sunday nights here on The Level Up Show. But we also had some big support from Juicy Jilly coming in with a Twitch Prime resub of 2 months. We're going to spin for her first. This one's for you, Jilly. And we got 25 XP to the entire room. Way to go, room. And after that, we also have Derek going in with the huge $50 tip, activating the Marballs wheel. So let's give a spin of that right now and see what we're about to do.
Woo-woo.
And we've got a sub gift is going to happen as a part of this race of marbles. For that reason, for those of you watching the archive, I will pause the recording. You don't have to deal with these marballs. And marballs deleted. You guys have to deal with that. But thank you so much to Derek once again for his $50 tip, activating marballs. We're going to go to a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into the level update. We're going to talk about BlizzCon and the big announcements and the controversy, of course, surrounding that. We're going to get into some sales information on PS4 and much more. So hold on tight. The Hooded Reaper. We'll be back in approximately 90 seconds. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 283. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're enjoying the stream at any point tonight, please hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live. We've got 40 people in the room still. Let's see if we can get to that big 5-0. Keep sharing the show, guys. If we get that big 5-0, I'll do a room spin, give XP to the entire room. Let's get that TV in here. Let's take a look at the chat, see what happened while we were on commercial break here. We got Doritos dropped in the chat here.
We do.
Making me hungry, guys. Come on now.
For sure. I want some Doritos now.
We still got a very strong show ahead of us. We got BlizzCon to talk about. We got PS4 sales to talk about and much more. So let's do that. Let's get into the level update, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you glad I don't hum this like Mike does on, when he used to do this?
Definitely. Oh, you know what? I have it muted right now anyway.
Oh.
There you go. You guys can hear it. You should have hummed it. There's the one time you should have hummed it because it was muted.
Should've.
First up in the level update, as I was just saying, BlizzCon 2019 just happened. We have some big announcements. Before we get into the actual announcements and the reveals, let's talk a little bit, of course, about the controversy surrounding BlizzCon. They had to respond to the Blitzchung thing, whatever you want to call that, so the debacle there. And they did. From the very beginning with the keynote, they responded to that. But was it adequate? Here's what was said. Quote, "When I think about what I'm most unhappy about, it's really 2 things. The first one is we didn't live up to our high standards that we set for ourselves, and the second is we failed in our purpose. And for that, I'm sorry, and I accept accountability." That was from President Brack of Blizzard in his opening statement. Brack reiterated that Blizzard's goal is to, quote, "bring the world together in epic entertainment through the power of video games," but the message sidestepped any mention of Hong Kong directly. There was a lone "Free Hong Kong" shout from the crowds during Brack's speech. It was very, very short and there was no comments on reversing the penalties. They are not reversing the penalties on BlizzCon. Nothing like that. It was very simple. What did you think, Vince, of the apology?
I don't even. I would consider lukewarm toast that's been sitting in a bowl of lukewarm milk to have more structure and integrity than what that statement was there.
Yeah,
to be honest,
wasn't much.
It just felt like a completely ham-fisted PR. There was no accountability. You didn't take accountability. You sat there and just did the whole, like as South Park did, we're sorry, and you walked away with it. And the applause that they got from the audience, indicated that, yeah, no, that's cool. We're good with it. And I don't know. I think it's hypocritical and everything like that. And now we're finding out that there's been some more shit going on with them. They had their chat disabled for I don't know.
Yep.
There's no accountability there.
But were there announcements enough to make people forget about all that? First, let's talk about Diablo 4. We got our gameplay trailer reveal for it. We've got it up on screen right now. Let's talk a little bit about what was said, though, what was revealed. Quote, "We're excited to be returning to the dark, quintessential Diablo gameplay that players love while expanding the world and story in new ways. And we can't wait for more people to be able to experience it. In Diablo 4, players will attempt to bring hope back to the world by vanquishing evil in all its vile incarnations, from cannibalistic demon-worshipping cultists to the all-new drowned undead that emerge from the coastlines to drag their victims to a watery grave. For the first time in the series, Sanctuary will be contiguous, seamless landmass, comprised diverse regions ranging from the burning deserts of Kazakhstan to the verdant werewolf-infested forests of Scouse Glen. To the harsh and rugged wilderness of the dry steppes." So, as you can see up on screen, definitely a little bit more of a dark, gritty style similar to Diablo 2. They took away a lot of that color, which is probably going to bother some people and is going to make other people very happy. Depends on which Diablo, artistic direction you appreciate, I suppose. What do you think, Vince?
I appreciate all of them. I actually really love the look of Diablo 4. I think Diablo 4 has the best look out of everything that we've seen so far.
Okay.
The thing that I'm not liking from it right now is just it does feel like it's lacking a little bit more of the kineticness and a little bit more of the, and this is where the other colorful art style came into play, was definitely much more of the particle effects and the system effects that you'd see on screen going on at the same time. A lot of stuff felt really subdued in, and they kind of overcompensated more for like lighting, how textures look, and then blood splatter is what you know what I'm saying. Like they've kind of, it's good. It's weird at the same time. I'm not sure yet.
Let's talk about the classes that were revealed. There's the Barbarian, known for their unparalleled strength and brutal melee combat, utilizes a new and more powerful system in battle, Arsenal, which arms them with the ability to carry and rapidly switch between 4 different weapons at a time by assigning them to individual attacks. The Sorceress harkens back to their Diablo 2 roots and shapes the elements to obliterate their foes by impaling them upon jagged spikes of ice, electrocuting them with bolts of lightning, or raining flaming meteors from the sky. And finally, you got the Druid. It's a savage shapeshifter whose updated playstyle empowers them to fluidly transform between werewolf, werebear, and human form to unleash the raw power of nature's fury on the forces of the burning hells. All of them look interesting to me. I think if I had to go with any of them, I think the Druid actually was drawing my attention.
To be honest, none of these speak to me yet.
Okay.
That's where and this is where like the biggest disappointment for me is. I think what they're saying is they are only going to do 3 classes as of right now. I don't know if that's been confirmed all the way through. That's what all the leaks have been saying anyway, that it's going to only be the 3 classes initially. I'm a monk guy on Diablo 3, so it's much more about just fast, and just constantly overwhelming enemies with just blitz, of going crazy like that.
So yeah, these are just the classes they've revealed so far.
Okay. Like I said, I didn't know that they had announced that there's 2 more still coming out then.
I mean, this game is far away, as we're about to talk right now. Here's what they had to say finally. Players will be able to experiment and discover countless character builds through customizable talent trees and skills, a deep loot system filled with legendary and set items to collect, runes and rune word combinations, and even personalized mounts for traversing the open world. And as far as when it's coming out, the only quote we have is, "We are not coming anytime soon, not even Blizzard soon."
Yeah.
So that implies like 3 years away, in my
It'll
opinion.
be 5. It'll be 5.
Yeah, like at least 3 years away. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is way out there. They're just revealing the game right now. 3 classes right now. We'll learn more in the future, and the game is probably going to look much more impressive when it actually releases than what we saw here. But step in the right direction, and as you said, like the story focus here with actual cutscenes would be pretty neat.
I mean,
that happens in the game.
I so hope to God they do this, because this is what this game needs. There is a phenomenally dark and twisted story in this game that is just never really presented right. It's so dark and just gothic-y. It's just so good.
Vince, tell me about Overwatch 2.
2 been announced for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The release date is, I don't know. I have no idea, from Kaplan. Just let us make it great. That's what we have to care about more than anything. We don't have a date in mind. He also warned that the Overwatch team will probably go dark after BlizzCon while it works on the game. So what Overwatch 2 is, it's a complete story experience with story missions, PvE modes, and remastered maps. Hero missions are highly replayable cooperative experiences. All 31 heroes plus more are getting upgrade looks to them, as you can tell from some of the trailer shots here with Genji having the hood, which was trending on Twitter for whatever reason. Lucio's got an upgrade. Most of the characters actually have an upgraded look to them now. Multiple new heroes have already confirmed, but won't be talking about them yet. With Overwatch 2, they wanted to redefine what a sequel means. For all Overwatch players, you have to play on all the same maps as Overwatch 2 players and the same heroes. It's a shared multiplayer environment where no one gets left behind. All Overwatch progress matters. Everything carries over to Overwatch 2.
So it seems like there's a pretty fair amount of confusion about what Overwatch 2 is exactly, because like so much of it is just being applied to Overwatch 1. So is it really like the story missions?
It's the story and hero missions is what it comes down to. And I was talking to other people about this a little bit a couple days ago whenever it was announced. I was like, are they going to try to sell this as like their own game? Why is this just not a 19 or 30 or whatever dollar expansion pack for one? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's interesting approach
for sure.
But also probably I would guess Overwatch 2 is like a 2021 release, and I would guess Diablo 4 is like a 2023 release if I had to guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And again, what's weird about this too is, why did they announce these so early? Like,
this has been planned for months and months. It's not a reaction to the BlizzCon controversy.
Right. I wonder if this was a reaction to last year's BlizzCon. Because
I think without a doubt,
BlizzCon was not good. So I don't know. It's one of these things, like, again, we're just, don't announce your projects this far out, you know?
Yeah. They felt like they had to give us something this year, I guess. I do think it 100% had to do with the lackluster BlizzCon 2018 and the backlash they received. So they had one more even beyond that. Actually, a few more. Hearthstone was in there too, but World of Warcraft Shadowlands is the other big one. Another expansion sends players to the ultimate undiscovered frontier, the Shadowlands, an infinite plane where the souls of the dead go to be reborn, serve, do battle, or endure endless torment. There, Azeroth's heroes must forge bonds with the powerful beings who hold dominion over the Shadowlands, among them some of the most iconic figures in the Warcraft universe, and acquire the unearthly powers they need to uncover the extent of Sylvana's designs. I have no idea what any of this means, but cool.
I don't know. I don't remember any of my World of Warcraft lore. I used to know it, but I don't anymore. I will say one thing, though. Blizzard still is the king of CG cinematic trailers. Like, their CG cinematic trailers are just freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, we got the one up on screen right now here. Put it up big for you guys. Yeah, they are. They're gorgeous. I remember there was always the competition of like, who does better CG? Is it Square Enix or is it Blizzard? It's different. They definitely have a different approach, but they're both like the best of the best.
Yeah, for sure.
So you used to be in the World of Warcraft?
Very early on, like, as in, well, I shouldn't say very early on, like I wasn't there when it was there day one. It was more of a high school thing, and I think that was right before Mist of Pandaria came out.
Okay.
And that was like, I have 17 I have 17 people on a college hall that want to play this, and that's how we got into it.
Okay.
So.
But you're not going to jump back in for this.
No. I would need a lot more people to play to justify trying to do this all by myself. I don't have the time.
So it looks like we have 2 votes for F Blizzard. What about everybody else? Which one are you most interested in or excited about? Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, World of Warcraft, Shadowlands? Not excited for any of them, or F Blizzard? Let me know in the poll below. Moving on from that, Vince, I think you can take this one.
Yeah. So the PS4 is now the second best-selling home console of all time. From a hardware standpoint, the PS2 sold more than 155 million. We don't have an exact number for that. PS4 is now at 102.8 million. The PS1 beating the PS1, which the PS1 was 102.49 million. Followed by that was the Wii at 101.63 million. And then the PS3 rounding up the bunch there with 87.4 million. From a software standpoint, the PS2 is still in the lead of the pack here with 1.537 billion units of software sold, I think is how you would say that.
Yep.
The PS4 is it's not exact, it's greater than 1.067 billion. So it's kind of catching up there. The PS3 sits at third place with 999.4 million. That's funny. And then the PS1 being slot number 4 for 962 million. And with the DS coming in for the 5th slot there with 948.66 million units of
now,
software
I think a lot of
sold.
people will be like, where's the 360 at? I don't think Xbox releases those numbers. That's why they're not on here.
Xbox has never released those numbers. So, we do not know that. And then Sony lowers the projections of PS4 shipments for the financial quarter of 2020, likely in large part due to the Last of Us 2's delay and also with the generation kind of just coming to an end.
Yeah, but you have to think, like, what's changed? Like, why would they lower it now?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's
right.
True. I'm sorry.
Really, the only thing I could think of is The Last of Us 2's delay. It's not like they were planning on doing a price drop and now they're not. I really don't think they're planning on doing a price drop anytime soon on PS4 beyond its Black Friday whatever it's going to be, which might be $200, $199, maybe a bundle with Spider-Man again or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. Death Stranding bundle. But yeah, I mean, The Last of Us 2 was supposed to be this fiscal year in February. Now, of course, coming out in May, right? So, not going to fall into that fiscal year. And yeah, I that could account for some PS4s not being picked up in fiscal year 2020. But I think it's quite fascinating that PS4 is now the second best-selling home console of all time, because I thought the Wii was still considerably higher.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, where did we catch up on that?
I thought the Wii was like somewhere in like the 115 to 120 million range.
Yeah.
I knew that it dropped off towards its last years, but I didn't know it freaking plateaued.
Yeah.
The Wii. And I didn't realize it was that harsh of a decline in its sales towards the end. PS3 even is kind of surprising. Like PS3 in the top 5. You would think with how much of a disaster that was for Sony that it wouldn't be in the top 5, knocking any Xbox out of there. 360 couldn't get into the top 5. Because hardware-wise, we do have numbers on 360.
We do.
Yeah,
we do.
And it's just barely below the PS3. But
it's so
software-wise, PS4 is actually at a little bit of a better pace than hardware in catching up to the PS2. Nothing will ever catch the PS2, I don't think.
No.
As far as a home console goes, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It's not the time anymore. The PS2 also greatly benefited from a lot of games, and I mean that a lot of games not being more than $49.99 for the most part. There was the right price point there. The economy was right then. It's a whole different time period than what we currently live in right now, which I don't think we'll ever really truly see that. The fact that we're getting the PS4 to get even close to that in a way is kind of remarkable in this type of environment.
I can see the PS4 hitting like 130 when all is said and done, which is pretty crazy. PS2 is above 155 million. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But moving on from that, PlayStation is looking into further acquisitions to enhance its content IP. We sort of knew this, but Video Game Chronicles is expanding upon it. They wrote, during Sony's second quarter earnings call on Wednesday, senior EVP and CFO Hiroki Totoki implied that the company could look to further grow PlayStation Worldwide Studios, which currently consists of 14 development houses across the US, Europe, and Japan, with further acquisitions. At the Investor Relations Day in May this year, we mentioned that Sony's strength lies in its first-party content and IP, he said, with the aim of strengthening these. In August, we announced the acquisition of Insomniac Games, the game developer from Marvel's Spider-Man, which sold 13.2 million units worldwide. Through this acquisition, Insomniac Games will become Sony Interactive Entertainment's 14th studio and will contribute to further enhancement of our first-party software development organization. Going forward, we will continue to pursue growth investment opportunities that will enhance our content IP. In other words, further acquisitions. The exec's statements echoes that of Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan, who said prior to the Insomniac acquisition that the company was considering studio purchases in a bid to grow its first-party development capabilities. Vince, how long until we get another one of these?
I don't know.
Do you think it's before PS5 comes out?
There's definitely gonna be one. I don't know if we're gonna get any more at the end of this year. I definitely think we'll get something at the very start of the next year.
I think we get one
February.
more before PS5.
Yeah, I could see us getting two more. One at the very start of the year, then like one right around E3 time. Yeah, it's just a matter of who is the next one. I mean, I think a lot of signs still point to Remedy. That's still the internal chatter from what I've been hearing.
I think it can make a lot of sense. Like if Blue Point is doing an exclusive like Demon Soul reimagining for PS5 launch, like when they reveal that at the PS5 reveal, it might also be like a great time to be like, oh, and by the way, Blue Point now has joined first party studios.
Right.
Like that would be like a great moment to do it. So you might see some of these announcements happen when PS5 is revealed, just to further enhance that moment.
And honestly, that would make the most sense from the meeting standpoint if they announce their new system. They finally formally announce a new system in a much more conventional setting, and then they also say these are also our brand new partners who are now part of the actual first party family. And you name drop a couple studios like that. That's a big moment.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm excited for that to happen. Vince, you're up.
All right. And some kind of shocking news for some people, but not shocking to anyone who remembered what happened. Death Stranding is coming to PC in summer 2020. Kojima Productions, this was a tweet, I believe. Thanks to all of you who have been supporting Death Stranding. Death Stranding is release on PS4 is November 8th, 2019. Furthermore, Kojima Productions happy to announce that Death Stranding will be coming to PC in early summer 2020. 505 Games is going to be the publisher, and their statement was, we are extremely excited to be and honored to be working with a supremely talented team at Kojima Productions and to bring Death Stranding to PC gamers around the world, said 505 Game co-founder and CEO Rafi Galante in a press release. Death Stranding will take gamers through a completely original experience that will delight PC gamers everywhere.
It's almost admirable that they would reveal this before the PS4 version comes out, because it's just so
it's odd,
anti-business. It's like so pro-consumer and anti-business. It's kind of insane.
It is weird for sure. I'm double dipping. I'll tell you that right now.
You're gonna double dip?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Seeing Dicema on PC engine hardware, I'm sorry, on just PC brute force hardware. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna even if I don't replay the game again, completely replay it, just seeing the technology behind that, which the technology is phenomenal. If you haven't watched that Digital Foundry tech review, you should, because it doesn't actually talk about the actual game or the game review. It just talks about the technology of the engine, and oh my God, Horizon 2.
I know. I keep thinking about that on PS5.
Everything I've seen the Kojima Productions do with this engine, on top of the fact of some of the stuff they've already talked about with Horizon, I was just like the really cool thing. This is a cool little moment here. Sorry, little side topic. So all the rocks in Death Stranding, right? Like when you're walking and everything like that, that's actually procedurally placed by the engine.
Yeah.
That's actually not there handcrafted. That is the GPU and the engine working cohesively together to where they it'll procedurally place those in a order, so that way they can design that. It's utterly phenomenal.
Very cool. Yeah, I was watching PlayStation Access and their video, which is all from like early in the game. But it's one of the best videos I would say to watch if you are still on the fence on Death Stranding, because for one thing, the commentators' enthusiasm is infectious. But the footage that they show is drop dead gorgeous, and I think it gives the best quick understanding of what the gameplay loop is that I've seen. So if you guys want to check out that, it's a PlayStation Access on YouTube. But moving on from that, we've got a EA. We got a few more details here based on their future game release schedule, because they just had their earnings report. First up, NBA Live 20 is canceled. Not coming. God. They said they're going to take the work that they did on it. They're going to use it. It'll be forwarded onto something in the future. Does that mean NBA Live 21? Not necessarily. It could be an offshoot or a reinvention. Who knows what they have planned. But they're allowing 2K to own basketball right now. The next Battlefield will not release until 2021 to 2022.
Good.
That's amazing.
It's phenomenal. That's a great thing to hear, which tells me that DICE is working on Frostbite 3, I think is the iteration it would be on now. And it also definitely means, because if I would assume, this is me with more of a personal insight, I'm going to say with every single one of their major projects that use Frostbite that completely blundered, other than Battlefield, and they want to keep this one engine structure going on, they're retooling that entire engine completely to make that more friendly development for the rest of their studios. They have to be at this point.
Yeah. I'm so used to these guys churning these franchises out year after year after year that I'm just so pleasantly surprised when, Ubisoft says, yeah, we're going to take a year off from Assassin's Creed. Yeah, we're going to take a year off from Battlefield now with EA. It's like, yes! Are they finally getting it? Goddamn time.
Make it an event. Don't make it every year. Make it a thing to where, oh my God, they're making another Battlefield game again.
Right.
It's like been 2 or 3 years. That's where you get your sales. That's where you get your records. That's how Rockstar is the top of its game, is they have long designated hype cycles because of that,
We also have a long time to wait for Dragon Age. Dragon Age 4 apparently will not come out until after April of 2022. Oof. So we got a long time to wait on that one. However, beyond just Fallen Order, there will be more Star Wars games before both Battlefield and this Dragon Age 4. So they've got something else in the works, utilizing the Star Wars franchise after Fallen Order. That's, I guess, going to fill that gap in a little bit. As far as Fallen Order goes, they're very optimistic on how this game is going to do. They're projecting 6 to 8 million sold to consumers for Jedi Fallen Order. What do you think of that, Vince?
I mean, I think that's great.
You think they can hit it?
I think they can hit that low end. I definitely think, like I think
I
we talked
agree.
about,
the low end maybe.
The combat is going to be the thing that makes or breaks the casual experience there, and I just don't see it now. The low end for sure, unless, because they're not doing early access from what I understand. That's not on. Okay. It's not on Origin Access. It's not coming on Premiere from what I understand. You have to buy it. So I don't know.
This is what's going to tell them, though, like, how much are we going to invest into single player dedicated games moving forward. So if you're one of those gamers right now that is fighting, like, single player still exists and EA needs to support it, like, this is your moment to tell them that with your dollar. So keep that in mind. Like, if this game reviews well, it's got like an 85 or something like that, people are talking highly of it, like, this is the moment to tell EA, yes, keep doing games like this. So I would really recommend you guys keep that in mind. I'm definitely considering it myself, because I want to see more Star Wars single player games specifically, but anything from EA that focuses on single player purely would be a step in the right direction. And lastly, they are promising more remasters of fan favorites. Quote, fan favorites.
Fan favorites. Dead Space.
Fan favorites.
Dead Space. Dead Space.
I thought that, yeah, Dead Space is definitely one I would bring up.
Here's my thing. Like, that's one of the few ones that, like, out of this entire generation of being remasters, I was like, how did Dead Space not get remastered this generation? It's one of those things. I just never understood it.
The only other one I would think of is Mass Effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
They brought it to PS3 with like a compilation, but they never remastered it for this generation.
Yeah, and apparently there's that whole Crisis rumor, which I'm just kind of like, why?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like, I get it. It's a graphical showcase. It's a wonderful title to show off your graphical prowess. I just think the game doesn't hold up anymore.
Yeah. Interesting to say. I mean, if they remaster Mass Effect, do I finally give it another try? I
You
don't think
probably
so.
should. You probably should
I
because
don't think so.
the community demands it, Drew.
I won't be full time anymore. It's gone. I lost my opportunity. It's too late, guys. I'm sorry. It would just take too long. I don't have it in me. Anyway, final story of the level update. Go ahead, Vince.
Kotaku is in a battle with its owner, MMO Fallout. Writes, it's a weird website name. Kotaku today penned an editorial from the staff explaining to readers that ads are not a discretion of the editorial team. More specifically, the editorial team has no input over the obnoxious automatically playing video ads with the sound that are popping up on the website. The article dutifully promoted users to where they could complain to Kotaku's parent company, GO Media. Had the story ended there wouldn't have been anything worth covering. GO Media has since apparently ordered the article to be taken down, as the article is now gone, and Jason Schreier posted on Twitter, the article is no longer up. The staff at Kotaku did not remove it.
And that didn't stop there. There's other things, very ominous tweets from Schreier and also a few others. I remember when the Death Stranding embargo was coming close to ending, there were a few Kotaku editors that were posting about how you might never read anything from them on it, or like they're all talking like it's over, like something's brewing over there, coming to a head.
It is.
And, do you think we lose Kotaku sometime soon?
I hope not.
Would it all be because of this? Like, is that the implication here, that it's because of this article, this sort of mutiny based on ads? Like, is that really what's going to cause this whole fallout to happen?
I mean, that would be beyond the most pettiest thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
To be honest. And I mean, honestly, like, here's my thing. Ads have a place. Ads are part of the internet society.
I do hate Kotaku ads. I agree with them. The audio is blaring immediately. It's very frustrating.
Like, I just don't get, why do you have that enabled on your website? Like, you obviously know people are not like that a lot, Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to Deadspin, they wanted them to cover nothing but sports. Not allowed to cover anything else. There was a mutiny on that one. There was walkouts, and the front page was hilarious. Yeah. The articles that were being posted. So they fired a guy at Deadspin. Yeah, but if there's more to it, the whole story is really deep in corporate greed and suited hands in the pot, says Mike in the chat, as far as Kotaku. Here's one thing I will say. I have no fear for Jason Schreier. That guy will be picked up somewhere else so incredibly quickly. So I don't think he has anything to worry about, but I do hope everybody else that might suffer as a result of this can find their way back on their feet again. If that does go that direction, let's hope that it doesn't. Kotaku sticks around. Not because Kotaku's the best. I do have my own issues with Kotaku. But they also have some good stuff.
They do.
They often have some good stuff, and they've got some good people there like Schreier. So I wouldn't want to see that fall apart. Anyway, don't think we have any wheel spins right now. Thank you so much to Duroc, though, for gifting subs, being very supportive, activating the 60-minute after show. We have surpassed that goal. But if you guys want to keep supporting, it is very much appreciated. Subs, tips, and cheers. Of course, get you spins at the price wheel as long as it's worth $5 or more, so keep that in mind. Although you might want to save it up for after show, because once we get into after show, if you tip $5 or more, you can use Media Share and submit videos and music and all that live to the show for us to fill that 60-minute after show. We're going to do a sub gift giveaway while we go to commercial break here. Let's get that started up right now. If you are not yet a sub, make sure to type in ! sub gift in the chat, but please only if you are not yet a sub. There you go in the chat. And while that is running, we are going to go to another short break here. When we come back, we got a trailer reaction, and we'll get into the rapid fire news roundup. Hold on tight. Ginkgo swag. We'll be back in approximately 90 seconds. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 283. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're enjoying the stream at any point, please hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get those alerts whenever I go live. You can type in !schedule in chat to get a little bit more information on that. Also, get on our Discord, please. We got a great community there at discord.gg/Level Up Network. You can type !Discord in the chat to get that link as well. Hit that follow button. Go above and beyond if you want to get spins of the prize wheel with subs, tips, and cheers. We did hit our 60-minute after show. That will come right after the main episode ends, and we'll focus entirely on you guys in the chat, and that'll be a lot of fun. But right now, let's get into our trailer of the week. We're going to be taking a look at The Witcher, coming to Netflix this December. Vince, it sounds like you got that pulled up on YouTube, ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay, let me make sure I'm ready to go as well here. See. Okay. I will give you a 3, 2, 1.
Sounds good.
Second, audio is up. Okay. Ready, Vince?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
I've heard tales of your kind, Witcher.
Sold already.
You're a mutant. Created by magic. Roaming the continent.
We don't want your kind here.
Hunting monsters. For a
Got a
price.
foglet there.
I thought you'd have fangs or horns or something.
I had them filed down.
I like his
Everybody
voice.
got a little bit of nudity in the background there.
It does.
People call
Blur that
you
out on
monster
Twitch.
too. Why not kill them?
Because then I am what they say I am.
All of our choices draw our destinies closer.
If he is out there, there is still hope.
I have to find Geralt of Rivia.
Don't judge me.
They say witches can't feel human emotion.
Yes! Yes! Geralt in the bathtub! So good!
Bless her. Greater. Middling. It's all the same.
Oh, this music's very, very reminiscent of the video games here.
Very much so.
Your destiny. I can't protect her. If you dismiss it, Geralt! You will unleash true calamity upon us all. I'll take that chance.
Yes! I liked that one much more than I liked the first reveal
I agree
trailer,
with you.
actually.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that one that showed a little bit of the spectacle and scale
Yes.
here. That one scene where you see the two sides riding at each other. I was like, that was pretty epic in scale right there.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. But when that music kicks in the last half there, I was like, oh my! I got a foglet there once again. CGI looks pretty decent on the foglet, not bad.
I mean, honestly, the production of the show looks decent. Looks
Yeah.
very good, actually. Yeah, the butt shot though is the greatest thing about it. I'm just kidding.
That
It's
butt
actually-
shot.
It's great. I like his voice. I like what he's doing
Yeah.
there. Even it's Henry Cavill and a little bit of I want to say some inspiration from sorry, I forget the voice actor's name, but they're going a little for gamey Witcher as well, which I kind of like.
Yeah, definitely are.
And but honestly, I think a lot of the production looks really great too, from even costume designs. The only thing that looks weird to me is armor still. Armor looks really weird for me. Like when I'm talking about like these guys, like the plate armor and whatnot, it just looks fake. You know what I'm saying? It looks really weird.
Yeah, the Nilf Guardians, those especially that. Yeah, I don't really like that crinkled trash bag look that they've got, but yeah, some looks better than others. I wonder how much money they are putting into this. It seems like it's probably a pretty decent amount.
It's a pretty decent penny for
Yeah.
sure.
looks like they're going for it. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll be there. I feel like the fact that they are going a little bit more video game in like visuals is great for me. I feel like a lot of people are going to watch this are ones coming from the video games, but then at the same time it's going to appeal to the book guys in that it's actually following the books as far as the story goes. But visually I feel like they had to take inspiration from the games.
Yeah.
They just had to. So that's pretty cool for us that got into it that way. I've only played The Witcher 3, I will admit, but that's the best one, right? So
it is the best one.
Yeah, that's all I needed. That's all I needed to know was Witcher 3, and I'm like, yes, I'm in. Yen is still a little odd to me. Yeah, it doesn't quite look.
But she's like that in the books, from what I remember. She's not as sultry. Not even that.
I just expected her to not look like she was 17 years old. Is all.
Yeah, I guess that's a good. Yeah.
Especially when opposite Henry Cavill, who looks like he's mid-30s.
Yeah.
A little bizarre. Could be a little weird when they're making out. But yeah, I'm there, man. December like 14th or 20th or something. I can't remember, but I am there. This will be one of the ones I'm watching. Christmas times. Nice little Christmas gift.
Yeah.
See what the chat has to say here. Nilfgaardians. Like Nilfgaardians.
Yeah.
So my friend killed a guy with a rock in a game. In this game? I don't think so. Not in this game. Let's see what else we got here. Welcome to Jenny from the Block. How you doing? It's Netflix. Forgot about that yet. It is Netflix. This is their play maybe at the Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings type show. They're going to need their own, and maybe this could be that for them. If they really put the work in and put the money into it, they could turn this into something special. I mean, I know even the author of the books never expected the video games to take off the way they did.
Yeah, he did not, and he's fought to get more royalties from them.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely has. And I know that he has some involvement with the show though here on Netflix.
He does.
Yeah, so he can't make any complaints on this one.
Right.
Thank you to the follow that just came in from Saucy Snail. Appreciate that. All right, that is the trailer of the week.
Woo.
Woot. Moving on, we got to wrap this show up. Do we have anything that I missed here? I think we're good. Let's wrap this show up, guys. The final segment. The Rapid Fire News Roundup. Ha! First up in the Rapid Fire News Roundup. Let's see. First up in the Rapid Fire, we got Blue Point Games giving a big tease on Halloween about what might be their reimagining that they have in the works. Let me read this tweet off for you guys here. I find this interesting. So calm this spooky night, a symphony of rumors, not one, but two, return from shadow, a resistance to dart home as black monsters escape twisted hills to wander lands and siphon souls. Thank you to Don for the resub. Filter your candy collection soft from solid and be eco-friendly. Have a metal Halloween. All right. So it's pretty obvious what they're doing here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They're trolling. They're 100% trolling with this. So there are a bunch of words in here. Symphony. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is the first one. Shadow. You could say a bunch of things there. They worked on Shadow of the Colossus. Resistance. Resistance Fall of Man, or any of the Resistance games. Maybe they're bringing back Resistance. Dart, Legend of Dragoon. Twisted, Twisted Metal. Siphon, Siphon Filter. Filter your candy collections. Filter again, Siphon Filter. Souls, Demon's Souls. Let me pause this actually, we're a little ahead. You got Demon Souls as well. There's even more than that actually. Oh, another one, Escape Twisted Hills. Ape Escape. Potentially. We actually have the poll in the chat for you guys. And then finally, filter your candy collection soft from solid, and then have a metal Halloween, Metal Gear Solid. There's so many. They took all the possibilities that people have brought up and they put it in here. So if it's going to be any of these hinted games, which is most likely, I still say it's Demon's Souls.
Yeah, because isn't the rumor founded on the fact that it is a PlayStation IP?
Yes, and that it has swords and armor and things like that. I think they also said at one point.
Right. So I mean, it comes either down to Demon Souls, The Legend of Dragoon, and
It's really about it of those.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Legend of Dragoon has not seen any activity whatsoever, and then Demon Souls obviously being the more recent of the titles there. It is weird though, because initially, before when there was the rumor of them remastering something, it was Metal Gear Solid for a while. So
yeah, I remember that. I don't want it to be Metal Gear Solid as much as I love Metal Gear Solid. We've already had that game remade.
Yep. I agree with you.
So I don't need to be remade again. It doesn't really make sense. Honestly, if they were going to do like Metal Gear, I would want them to do like Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And remake those. That would be kind of cool to see
cool.
those stories told in this generation of graphics. You guys voted a split between Castlevania Symphony Night and... Oh, no, never mind. Castlevania Symphony Night won, actually, for you guys.
Crazy fools. You crazy fools.
Fools. Let's put this up on the big screen because we got a cool little Halloween image, sticking with Halloween, from Square Enix. I like this a lot. This is from the train graveyard, and we got to look at the spooky ghosts in the train graveyard. This is just the best. What I love so much about this image is how faithful this game is being to the monster designs, but also to the humor and the sort of bizarre quirkiness of the game. To have like Cloud looking over his shoulder, scared as he's running away. It's just like, this is just the best. This freaking game. I'm so excited. They're nailing it for me in every single way. Nothing so far has been like, I don't know how I feel about this. Everything is just killing it for me right now. I'm pretty sure it's Sewer Sharks. Is that what they're called as far as the monster names go? Dunk? Really? I don't remember what their actual like monster name is. Sewer Shark. That would be funny if that's their name. Moving on from that, we got our PS Plus and Games with Gold revealed for November. PS Plus will be Neo and Outlast 2.
Missed a month, but okay.
Yeah, right? Get it out during October.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But Neo is a big one. I think a lot of people could really enjoy Neo.
I can finally finish it. Yes.
Yeah, I've had it. I should try that again. It didn't quite click with me in the same way like the Souls games did, Bloodborne, Sekiro. It didn't quite click with me that way, but I'll probably give it another shot.
You should also try Outlast 2 because they patched it to where they changed up the entire pacing of the game.
Really? How so?
I guess they streamlined a shit ton of stuff.
Huh.
So it's not the same game that people played when it first came out.
I know there were a lot of complaints about that one in comparison to the first, so.
Yeah.
And then Games with Gold, you got Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter on Xbox One, Final Station on Xbox One, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter on Xbox One and Xbox 360, and Joyride Turbo on Xbox One and Xbox 360 is the Games with Gold. I'd say the PS Plus is the stronger for this month, but let us know what you guys think in the chat. Which one is the stronger for
I mean, I agree with you on
November.
That one, too. Sherlock's Holmes is not bad, though. It's good. Well, good in the sense of it's a AA title.
Doug says, I'm most excited about the re-release of Madden 98. Yeah, man. I totally with you there. PS View is shutting down. Last we talked about it being sold. It took 1 week, and now it's being shut down on January 30th of 2020. So if you are subscribed to PS View, you might want to start looking for your next cable option.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I feel like the people that were invested in PS View, they're bummed right now. I've seen it many times. Like, oh shit, like this worked for me. This was good. I love the DVR. It had the channels I wanted. The price wasn't too bad, although it did go up. It worked for people. So it's a bummer. I guess they couldn't find somebody. After that, PlayStation has trademarked the next 5 generations, all the way up to PlayStation 10.
Damn.
Yeah, so we got PS6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 already trademarked by PlayStation. It makes sense. They're going to do this. They're going to make sure they have those just in case. Doesn't mean they're actually going to stick with just the numerals all the way up there. Do you think eventually it's going to start getting old for you, Vince?
The consoles just being
PS6, PS7, PS8.
Nah, I like iterative. I just like numbers.
Yeah.
Like I like if you're gonna name it something, like I want it to be something that's a little bit more of a unique concept. Like if that's what I'm saying, like if you're gonna make a name like a PlayStation Velocity, I want it to be something. I want it to be something that's more of like a spin-off aspect of that. If that makes sense.
Gotcha. This is the PS9 commercial. This actually was a PS2 commercial, but it had an advertisement for PS9, which I always thought was amusing. People still look at that nowadays, like a little freaking sphere orb is what the PS9 is going to be someday. How the hell does that work? Just touch it and just like implants your mind with a video game thoughts, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, it just injects your brainwaves, and then you sit there and you actually experience and see the world.
In the Matrix.
Yes.
X019 will be very focused on games. According to Aaron Greenberg, somebody tweeted at him saying, "You guys going to have new games to show or just more controllers?" This is in response to the video up on screen right now, which is a controller video for X019. But Aaron Greenberg responded by saying, "Our X019 show is focused on games, 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 games." That's 5 games, guys. A lot of games. That's
5
good.
Games. It's good.
I wonder if this is going to be like a big deal for them this year. Like a PSX of old, maybe.
Yeah.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Be different.
Yeah. We need something this holiday since we're not getting a PSX. I don't think we are. At this point, my God.
No, I think at the point the normal window has passed.
Yeah, but don't you like think they would like say though, like we're not doing PSX, or somebody would like tweet at them and they respond like, yeah, no PSX this year? Like, how has it not happened yet? Official confirmation, one way or the other.
If they do a shadow announcement, that's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm just surprised like we haven't had confirmation one way or the other yet. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is breaking records, guys, making moves. It has become the top-selling new premium game release of 2019. It has now sold more units in its first 3 days than any other Call of Duty title this console generation. It had the biggest selling digital opening in Activision history. It set a PlayStation 4 record with highest digital sales in its first 3 days. It had the biggest Call of Duty PC launch ever. Some of those aren't surprising at all. But yeah, it's doing very, very well for them.
So much for that Spec Ops mode.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And a reminder, tomorrow I am giving away Call of Duty on PC Battle.net during my Call of Duty playthrough tomorrow. I'll be doing a bounty for it. I'm playing on PS4, but I'll be giving away a PC code throughout all of tomorrow's afternoon streaming. So make sure to stop by and get in on that giveaway. Oh, giveaway winner on the sub. I'll do that right now. Yeah, the winner of the sub. Oop, I allowed more entries. Let's see. The winner is Faster Guy. Faster Guy, congratulations. The final story of the Rapid Fire News Roundup. Ubisoft is promoting more unique game pitches following Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Kind of following up on what we talked about last week. Schreier wrote, quote, "Conversations I've had with people are now Ubisoft is changing their mentality big time. Now it's all about how you have to pitch your game as being super unique, having some unique aspect to it. It all sounds really wild. It's this really crazy atmosphere." Other notes. Gods and Monsters had a very tight deadline. The team working on it was most of the team behind AC Odyssey, which came out in late 2018. Schreier had heard people at E3 talk about how it was shaping up to be pretty messy. Watch Dogs Legion was originally planned to release this fall, but was pushed back till March. The cause for the delay is probably just because the main system is really complex with that game.
And now that game's even been pushed back even further, so...
Yeah. So, good. Great, though.
Good.
Push them back.
That's the thing, is that push your stuff back. Make sure your day one experience is there.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense. And I called that too with the whole Ubisoft thing. I knew it. I did instantly the moment when they said they're going to start delaying stuff back. It was like, yeah, they're going to completely change how they're going to structure their what's the word? Wow, I'm messing up big time now. Just that's why I said they're going to learn from their mistakes there, especially with this year being a very critical drop off on the whole gas type deal with them. They are definitely going to go back to more of a unique experience, which is good thing in my opinion, because they've always been pioneers with that. UbiArt needs to come back. UbiArt needs to come back, Ubisoft.
It does. It does. Rayman, Child of Light, Valiant Hearts, Prince of Persia. So many opportunities to do some great stuff with UbiArt.
It's funny realize that. Do you think Prince of Persia 2007 would sell better in this market than it did back when it came out? That was the cell shaded. You couldn't really die in it. One.
It didn't do very well at that time, right?
Right. It did not.
I think it would do better now, partially because it doesn't have a high bar to climb over. I think because single player is making a comeback when it comes to good single player experiences. I think if they were to do it now and have it be a great single player experience, it would get noticed, it would get attention, and for that reason, it would do well in the single player market for those people that are like, give me those experiences. I'm tired of all this, the same gas games. So I think for that reason, it would get some attention and some love. And I do think it would do better than it did back in 2007. But yeah, not a high bar to climb over there.
For sure.
Brett Brad in chat says, I think UB art is dead. I'm not happy about my opinion.
A lot of people aren't. A lot of people share the exact same feeling.
Congrats to Faster Guy on winning the sub gift. And you're welcome, man. Welcome to the Plus One Posse. I'm going to give you a wheel spin right now. We've got another... Oh, we got bonus XP for the entirety of the after show. And that is happening. In just a moment, that is it. We are done. Rapidfire News Roundup wrapped up. And we had a good show today. We had 5 subs. If you include those 2 gifted subs, we had 3 follows. Thank you so much to our most recent one from Saucy Snail. We had over $60 in tips activating the 60-minute after show, and that can continue. Of course, $5 tips or more, or actually $1 tips or more, will allow you to utilize media share. The more you tip, the longer the video or music video you can share with us, and we're about to get to that in just a moment. But right now, let's wrap this up. Hit that follow button before we head out here at twitch.tv/levelupshow. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live. I'm on every single weekday as it stands right now, and we're on Sunday nights here with the Level Up Show every Sunday 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Get on our Discord as well. I'll put the link in the chat at discord.gg/the Level Up Network. Got a great community there to be a part of, even when I am not live. We got gaming, we got movies, we got television, we got superheroes, we got politics, we got sports ball. It's all on there. Memes, of course, selfie love. Great community to be a part of on Discord. And this week, I'll be doing Call of Duty. I'll be doing more Dark Souls and Death Stranding when it comes out on Friday.
I hate you so much.
So be excited. Please be excited. We got a lot of good stuff to look forward to. And that is the show. I want to give a big thank you once again to Vince for joining me and helping me out on these weeks where, it's better not to do the show myself, especially on the week where Death Stranding has all his reviews drop. I needed you this week, Vince.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for having me, and I hope I didn't bore anyone too much with my, what's the word there?
No, man, not at all. What's your spiel?
My
Death
spiel,
Stranding
thank you. That's the word.
Everybody give Vince a follow on his channel. You can put yourself in the chat there, Vince, if you want. Agent Vincent 4756. He's a Twitch streamer. He's on very often. You guys can check him out. Please give him that follow. Support those that support us. And that is it. That is the show. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. We will see you throughout the week with gaming talk shows and game streams. Until next time, take care. And as always, don't forget to level up, everybody.